Kim Reynolds, the formerly popular governor of Iowa, has decided she is no longer neutral. She has endorsed Ron DeSantis.
Really?
For president.
Wait a minute. Who did?
Kim Reynolds, the governor of Iowa.
Huh. You barely saw it. Did that really happen? I didn't see anything about this week. A lot of other stuff in the news, I guess.
This is a real thing that happened.
Oh, huh.
She has endorsed the guy who is probably 2 weeks away from being third in Iowa. The guy who is simply roadkill, whose campaign is over except for the shouting. And it's interesting. I don't quite understand why she would do it, because she's now marked her card against Trump. Please, go ahead, Tim. You didn't talk much last time.
That was a bit I was doing, by the way. It got no news.
Oh, okay.
Like, literally, there was no coverage of this. You think we're in such a different world. You just think back to 2016, the Nikki Haley, Tim Scott endorsement of Marco obviously didn't. So this is right. It got the proportionate amount of news to how newsworthy it was. But like back then, that was like wall to wall coverage, front page of papers, the picture of the three of them, big momentum. And this happened, and it's like I wasn't even in the newspaper and like in the national newspaper. So I don't know. I didn't. My little Hotel USA Today, maybe I just didn't make it to page 36 or whatever. But and I'm sure at the local TV it was on, but like there just is not a sense that this matters, right? And I think that's right, because it doesn't. And that's a different world. Like the idea that the Iowa governor would endorse somebody.
Why did she do that?
In the old days, used to be just anyway. I think that's very telling. The state of play. She did it as a CYA. She doesn't like Donald Trump. These people don't like Donald Trump. And she doesn't want to, she wants to be able to say to her non-Trump friends in her social life, like our buddy, her consultant, and like other people, she wants to say, I did what I could. I endorsed Ron DeSantis. She wants to say to DeSantis and to the other people in her circle, in her ear that know that it shouldn't be Trump. I did it. I endorsed Ron DeSantis. I did the thing I was supposed to do. I like Ron DeSantis. We have a relationship. I do think that's weird. I've never got to hang out with Ron DeSantis. Maybe he has another side of him he shows behind the scenes. But I think that my understanding, based on people that know Kim, is that she does genuinely like him. And she's like, and so now she can say to her friend and to other people that hate Trump in her world, I did what I could. And then in 4 months, when she endorses Donald Trump, she can say to all the MAGA voters and all the MAGA people in her life that she was never anti-Trump. She was never hard on Trump, but she was for him. She helped him. So it's just a CYA move. Is my assessment.
I have a different take.
Okay, great.
Okay, so I think what's happening. So she had a chance to endorse Ron DeSantis. Tim's totally right. Everybody will tell you who knows him that knows that they're close, and she likes him, and she wanted to endorse DeSantis, which she could have done several months ago when the race was tighter, and where she declined, though, to endorse him over Trump, because it's not really a thing, like Tim said, Iowa governors do. Here's why it happened, though, in my opinion, is not because of Trump, but because of Nikki. And DeSantis is really close, potentially, to coming in third in Iowa. And if he comes in third in Iowa, his political career might effectively be over. And I think because they're friends, he went to her and said, you have to do this for me. Like, I think he let her off the first time because he thought he could maybe do it on his own. Now he's sure he can't. He might slip to third. And like, this is the one play he's got in Iowa to stay in the race. And I think he asked her, I think he put the hard sell on her. And then I think there's a little bit of Tim's stuff of like, that is what she wanted to do. That's what she wanted to do. But in like, so she just said, forget it. I'll do it. It's too late.
Look, she can do whatever she wants. But I really hope that Trump holds a grudge here. Because if he lets her off for this, I hope Donald Trump understands that he needs to make an example out of her. And it shouldn't be good enough for, if any of the MAGA types listening to this, it shouldn't be good enough for her to just hop on board.
We have one MAGA listener. Hello. Hi. I hear you. I see you.
He should exact a price for this, and we should make sure that she gets primaried when she runs for the Senate seat in whenever that becomes available. And I hope she is primaried very hard for her very unfair and disloyal treatment of our great president, probably your favorite, Donald Trump.
I do not root for Donald Trump retribution or Donald Trump success. I will note this. This has been, even though the the endorsement just happened. This has all been brewing, right? Like Trump's been crapping on her on Truth Social or whatever.
Oh,
and in those morning consult governor polls that come out, where they do like a monthly check in on every governor's rating, Kim is like at the bottom now. I don't remember if she was last, but she was near the bottom because there are some MAGA voters that are upset at her. And
as they should be.
I mean, she's still above. It's not like she's at 20% or something, but her numbers, you can see that there's been a meaningful decline in her numbers because there are MAGA voters in Iowa that are like, I'm mad at you for not getting on board. It's a cult.
I hope there's more.
Weird stuff happens in a cult.
All right, we do have time. I thought we weren't going to be able to, but here we are. We can talk about Peter Meyer.
Meyer.
Who can say?
Meyer?
Nobody knows.
No, Meyer.
How do you pronounce it? Impossible.
Sure.
So what do you guys think? I wrote a whole lot about this the other day. Everybody seems to be, if I could just set this up, what I object to most, he did a local radio interview earlier this week in which he said, of course, he defended his vote to impeach Donald Trump, said that of course he would support the Republican nominee. So he voted to remove Trump from office and bar him from ever becoming president again. But of course, he is now happy to support making this man president again. That's not what freaked me out. What freaked me out was him in the middle of this interview saying that the things Joe Biden has done have been much worse and much more serious than the January 6th attempt to overthrow the American government.
Hey, before we rank up Peter Meyer, can I point out, because me and Sarah all of us are very upset at Peter Meyer, so you're about to hear rage, like righteous rage happen, and I'll let Sarah take the first swing, and I'll kind of kick him while he's down. But before we get to that, can I just do one funny thing? When you said, I want to get to the last topic, we have one more topic, I was like, wait a minute, I felt like we had two more topics on the show map. What was the other topic? And then I went and just looked at our little note, and it was, there's a debate tonight.
Yeah, there's a debate tonight.
There's a debate tonight. Nobody remembers. The only thing that anybody has said to me about the debate this week is, oh wait, there's a debate this week. Like several people have been like, I'd forgotten about that. So I just think that that's amusing. We don't really need to do anything on that, but it's like it goes to.
I would like to talk about the debate tonight. I'm doing the New York Times debate coverage tonight on where you rue their little writing thingies. Yeah. And I have many thoughts about the debate tonight, except I agree. I have also seen a lot of people be like, oh, there's another debate tonight. Because Trump's going to be like down the road, counter programming again. So can we just do a little debate after we do Meyer?
Sure, if you want to. I mean, no everyone can.
You got to save Meyer for the end. If you want to do the debate, do it now. But Meyer is the cherry
let's just
on top.
Do Sarah,
Meyer is the dessert.
My take on the debate is I've already given. LOL that there's a debate tonight, and I will be on an airplane home, and I won't be watching it.
Well, I want to hear your debate take so I can incorporate it into the Thursday night live stream that we do for members of Bulwark Plus. Ding, ding, ding.
I don't know, guys. You guys don't think it is at all important tonight whether Ron DeSantis finally succumbs to Nikki Haley? Tonight's the night where people decide whether the Nikki momentum is real, and everybody should move. All the people who have fantasies of somebody taking him on, who see the narrow but squint, you can see it, path for her to come in second in Iowa, second in New Hampshire, and then I don't know what happens in South Carolina, but you got to do 2-2-1, yeah. Yeah, I mean, she could put a fork in DeSantis. I don't know if you saw the story. There's a great story in Financial Times about DeSantis's biggest donor, who is now saying he's probably going to move to Trump because he said something like Trump's the alpha dog and DeSantis is the food. Trump is the big dog and DeSantis is the food. He also, it's just tossed in at the end that he believes strongly in extraterrestrial life and also that that human sentience lives on after death. Whatever. He's just he's DeSantis' biggest donor because he found out someone else was going to give DeSantis $20 million, so he gave him $20 million and $5 so that he would be the biggest donor.
So
anyway,
these people should be taxed at 90%. This is what when I hear stories like this is what I turn into Bernie.
Go
I hear
full Bernie, right?
Like that, and I'm full Bernie.
I just think
Sarah,
that the Nikki stuff.
Nikki, hold on. I have a question for you though about Nikki. She doesn't need to kill DeSantis because she needs DeSantis in Iowa.
She does. It's true.
She would like him to be third, But she needs him there keeping Trump close. No?
She does. Yeah. So she needs, here's the thing. The path for Nikki is pretty straightforward. Right?
I got my pen and pad out
Yeah.
here.
Just write this down. Write this down. She needs Christie and Asa and Scott and all of them to drop out, right? Because those votes go to her.
And she has to be nice to them so that she doesn't alienate their people.
Yeah, like I don't know what.
We're up. Okay, we've got Christie and Ace's votes. We've gone from 7 to 9. All right.
You're wrong. No. They're doing better than that. No, not Asa actually, but Christie's got a little more than that. And so she picks it up. She needs DeSantis to stay in Iowa, but she needs to beat him in order to beat beat the expectations. Right, that gets her momentum when she beats the expectations. It also splits. Or at least DeSantis peels off, that 10, 12% or whatever he's going to get of otherwise Trumpy voters. Because it's true, if DeSantis drops out, his voters go to Trump. So, but she overperforms in Iowa, okay? And then now these guys are out. She goes into New Hampshire. Where Christie has 8%, where they're and where all these unaffiliated independents can vote, right? And so if they turn out at a much higher rate, she runs a real close race with Trump, right? Maybe like 45, 37.
37?
Yeah. Everybody else has dropped except
she has to. I have to push back on this. In our fantasy scenario, which is fantasy to begin with, she has to win New Hampshire. If Donald Trump wins Iowa and New Hampshire, the race is over.
You have not heard the last part of my plan. Then Donald Trump going into South Carolina either dies or goes to jail. Even goes to jail is not a surefire thing. But my point is that it matters, and this is why it matters. Just this is my whatever cri de coeur. Nikki needs to be in second if something happens to Trump. I'm not rooting for this the way that Tim does. I would like it though if Donald Trump were gone for some reason and that Nikki Haley were in the pole position.
I do want to say I received a nice note from somebody who is out there and even live in New Hampshire who wants hope for Nikki and was upset at some of my commentary mocking this. And I want everybody to be happy. If you want to have hope for Nikki, I want to have hope. And this is just the numbers aren't working for me. I took the notes and the numbers just aren't there. 37. What 37? Where from who? You just look back at the 2016
unaffiliated independents who are not
back at the 2016 primary, and it's like Kasich had 17 or something, and Marco had 8.
If you add up Kasich, Marco, Christie, and Jeb. You run about even with Trump in New Hampshire.
Okay, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe hope dies last, as they say. I will say I went to a Nikki event at a venue where we had John Huntsman and Jeb events, same venue, town hall in New Hampshire, and it wasn't even full. The upstairs of the balcony wasn't full. I know you can't judge these things, but if the momentum really was real, you could feel it in some way. I'm not saying crowd sizes matter. Joe Biden won with small crowds, but you could feel it. And, I sent a picture of it to one of my buddies who was like, I was at a T-Paw event in 2011 that had a bigger crowd than that. And it's just...
That's Tim Pawlenty for you youngins.
Maybe it'll happen at tonight's debate that no one's going to watch. So, anyway.
I'm
sorry I derailed us from Peter Meyer.
All right.
I did think it was funny that we forgot, though.
Mayer, who can say? Again, nobody knows how to say his name. Sarah?
I'm short on this one. Yeah. No, it's just nothing. These are the ones that make me the saddest because he is going to trade away what he had of his integrity, which he demonstrated when he voted to impeach Donald Trump and then lost his seat over it. I think he must have gotten pissed at Dems for running against him or for helping out his primary opponent and has decided now that, he's using that as a justification to be mad and cuddle up
he doesn't
to Trump
seem
in this
to be
way.
Pissed off at the Republicans who wanted to murder him, though.
No, that's right.
It's very strange. It's very strange. People want to murder him. He can forgive and look past that. But the people who ran some attack ads helping his primary opponent, that is the sin that would... What is this?
Yeah, I don't even have to be that mad at him though, because, and I'll let Tim kick him, just because like this isn't gonna work. Like he is not gonna win the Republican primary in Michigan because MAGA voters will not vote for somebody who voted to impeach him.
Right.
I don't know if people realize this. Everybody who voted to impeach Trump is gone. They lost. And so like I watched him already kind of try to change his tune during the last primary. Didn't work for him then. It's not going to work for him now. And the only thing is he's going to wake up one day and realize he traded his soul and got nothing in return. And I'm sad for him.
Here is why I'm angry, though, Sarah, before we get to Tim. It's because guys like Pete Mayer doing this thing where they then endorse Trump anyway. What that is they are contributing to the permission structure for the marginal normie Republicans to pull the lever for Trump anyway. And they're doing it even while the MAGA guys are destroying their careers. And this is what I don't understand. Just on the most, on the grounds of spite, he ought to be anti-MAGA and anti-Trump and be like, you know what? I'm going to vote for Joe Biden with a song in my heart because these assholes destroyed my career, right? I mean, he could, why not do that? But they, it's weird. I don't know if it's a DS thing or if this is
What's
the
DS?
way it looks.
Just move on.
Never mind. I don't want you to blush. It's like in the midst of revolutions when the dictator goes and decides that the guy who was lieutenant of the secret police is now an enemy of the state. The guy who was the lieutenant is, as he's being dragged away, instead of saying F you, Mr. Ceausescu, he's screaming, but I was loyal to the cause and I remain loyal to the cause. And I like, why, what is wrong with them that they don't see the people who hate them and want them dead and don't want them in their party? Why do they see those people as their allies and not their enemies?
I'm going to start by saying I appreciate Pete Meyer's impeachment vote and his service to our military.
True.
But I am not sad for him. I'm filled with the rage of 1,000 suns, fiery rage of 1,000 suns, and this fucking entitled little rich kid brat who thinks that he deserves to be in Congress or deserves to be in the fucking Senate because he can spend daddy's money on a fucking campaign or granddaddy's money is like absurd. And the fact that he is just so full of resentment. It's like the thing that bothers me about people like the most, like the one trait that I really cannot take is people that have good lives, who are successful, who are for whatever reason so embittered and filled with resentment that it didn't go exactly as they planned. Like, you poor little baby, Peter Meyer, you were supposed to be in Congress. You were supposed to be able to get to be in Congress because you have a trust fund. And it's like, no, you're not entitled to that. You have a great life. You could do whatever you want. You could go start a charity. You could just build a big house on the beach. You could sleep with broads. You could have a fulfilling life and have a family and have kids and do that. You could be on boards. Like, you have a million things that you could do. You are not entitled to be in the Congress, okay? You did the right thing one time, and because you were not then exalted onto high by the Democrats were supposed to exalt you, and Democrats were supposed to give you, like, grant you that your congressional seat in perpetuity because you had one good vote. I just, come on. Like, the fact that you can just see it in this interview, how angry he is that the Democrats ran some ads, for John Gibbs in a primary that worked, by the way. Okay. I was against that ad campaign on principle, but like, it worked. Welcome to the fucking big leagues. The Democrats have that seat now. They didn't give
Also,
the
do you
seat.
know who didn't defend him and help him during that primary campaign? Anybody in the Republican Party.
Certainly not Donald Trump. Certainly not Donald Trump.
Not Kevin McCarthy.
Trump sent a mob to kill you. Donald Trump sent a mob to fucking kill you. And you're so mad that you lost your congressional seat to the Democrats who outmaneuvered you. And by the way, you didn't lose it to the Democrats. You lost your seat to a bunch of MAGA crazies within your own party before you lost it to the Democrats. But you lost your seat. But you're so mad, you blame the Democrats for the fact that you lost your seat, that now, out of some like weird, spiteful revenge, you're like, I'm going to run for Senate in a hopelessly quixotic campaign. And the whole basis of this is going to be like spite at never Trumpers and spite at Democrats. And I'm going to talk about how Joe Biden is far, far worse than Donald Trump, and do exactly what you're saying, JVL. Give people permission to say, okay, well, maybe that's right. Maybe Donald Trump isn't as bad as Joe Biden. Maybe I should. I mean, if the guy that almost got fucking killed by Donald Trump's actions thinks that Donald Trump's better than Joe Biden, then maybe he is better than Joe Biden. Like you're participating in that, totally undermining all of the good that came from your vote, like just out of this petty resentment, not out of any actual principle. I just like the whole thing is preposterous, and it's fucking maddening. And I get way more pissed at people like that than I do at like misguided crazies like Lauren Boebert.
So there's one deeper point here, though, which is, and I did tease this out a little bit. Peter Mayer's worldview clearly is Republican voters are just a bunch of animals who do what they do, and you can't ask for anything more from them. You can't expect them to do the right thing or to understand anything. The only people who are rational and who can be expected to do that are Democrats. And the fact that the Democrats knew better and did this to me is why I hold them accountable for it. And I don't hold the Republican voters accountable because, like, look, they are what they are. I mean, isn't that the actual message of this?
Yeah, maybe.
And also as a factual matter, he may be right.
Because they're in his class, by the way. Again, this all goes back to resentment. Like, again, he's a rich kid that went to fancy schools. He also served in the military, which I appreciate. And I do appreciate his service. But like the people in his social class are Democrats, right? And so he does hold them to a higher standard. He's like, he looks at the like Republican fucking Neanderthals who are like smearing poop on the wall of the Capitol, right? And like calling death threats in. He's not mad at them, right? He's mad at like it's like a class betrayal thing that he feels mad about. He feels like he was betrayed by his own people. And so like that's literally what this is all about. And then I guess Afghanistan. I get it. I also thought Afghanistan was bad, but like, come on. So like the whole thing is Donald Trump wanted to fucking leave Afghanistan. It was Donald Trump's plan to leave
Donald
Afghanistan.
Trump is the one who set this all in motion.
Don't try to give me this, Afghanistan is the reason why Joe Biden's way worse than Donald Trump. If Nikki Haley was the other candidate, okay, great. Go run for Senate, be for Nikki Haley. Awesome. She's not. It's Donald Trump, the guy that resulted in your death threats, that set the Afghanistan thing in motion, that tried to end our democracy. You're gonna vote for fucking Donald Trump. Fuck you.
All right. No one's gonna top that. Guys, good show. Very long show, but I let you have it anyway. I let you have the long show that you people always tell me you want. There you go. Happy holidays to you. Tim, Sarah, fantastic. Thank you. Tim, amazing interview with Tom Arnold last Sunday. Absolutely astonishing. Anybody who hasn't listened to it should 100% run to it. It's so good. Hit the subscribe, hit the likes, come over to Bulwark and sign up and get our emails. Get Charlie's email every day for free with no ads in it or anything. Get my email sometimes for you to just sit and ignore in your inbox. You don't even have to read it. You can consume it just the way Sarah Longwell, our publisher, consumes it. It's fantastic. We'll see you on Sunday.